Hello and happy Tuesday. My name is Wendy Lee and I'm an independent demonstrator, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. So I'm excited that you joined me today in my CreativeLeeYours studio so that we can have a little bit of paper crafting fun. Yay! What do I have in store for you today? Well, we're going to do a little sneak peek of one of our upcoming stamp sets that is going to be available January 4th. And we're going to give you lots of tips and tricks in stamping with distinctive stamp sets and stamping on vellum. So you want to see the project? Yay! This is it right here. You'll see a little bit more when we switch the camera over. Yes? All right, ready to get started? All right, let me switch it over. Make sure we're in the right place. All righty. So we are featuring the brand new Crane of Fortune stamp set. I love this. This is one of our distinctive stamp sets. And if you've not used a distinctive stamp set yet, it's really photorealistic in the images. And I love that you get all this great depth in one stamped image without doing anything crazy. You just ink it up and stamp it. It's beautiful. So really like this one. And there is a bundled opportunity with some coordinating dies. Now, we're not using the dies on today's project, but I wanted you to see that there are some fabulous dies that coordinate. So super excited that you guys are joining me today. Hey, Elaine, Ginger, Susan, yay! I'm sure I missed some of you, but I will definitely go back and make sure that I say hello to everybody. So, all right. So again, let me bring the project in. So this is the project that we're going to make here. You can see those beautiful flowers. And then we've brought it to the inside as well. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this. So I'm going to slide this over out of our screen a little bit, right? So I'm going to start with my card base. So this is just a half a sheet of cardstock. So you can cut your cardstock either way. I like it this direction. So this is an 8.5 by 5.5. And I am going to just fold this in half, and it's fresh Freesia is our color. It's one of our wonderful in colors. Hey, Jennifer, so glad you're here. So super easy getting our card base. Looks like I folded it a little bit crooked. Let's see if I can go back and fix that. If not, it's okay. It's handmade, right? All right. So my next layer is a piece of 4.5 by 3.5 Blackberry Bliss cardstock. I love these colors together. Now, I will go back after the video and add in all the links to the products as well as the cut dimensions so you guys have everything you need. Hey, Susan, so glad you're here. Appreciate you guys watching. So I wanted to tell you on this layer, so I've already prepped this. I die cut this image out of the center of this layer first, right? Because we're going to cover it up, so you're not going to see it anyway, right? By the time we layer all this, it's just a way to save a little bit of cardstock. So I've cut that out with these Tasteful Labels dies. These are one of my favorites, and I use them all the time. And then I ran it through the Tasteful Textile, 3D embossing folder and added this wonderful texture. I hope you guys can see that great texture, right? It's amazing the difference that adding a little bit of texture, be it with an embossing folder or stamps, really adds so much to your project, right? All right, so we can go ahead and adhere this down, and I'm just going to do it flat right on the card base here. I know, crazy, right? So I'm just using a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to center it. Now, I didn't cut the layer necessarily even. Like a lot of times I'll have an even border all the way around, and I didn't do that on this because I'm just changing it up a little bit. Hey, Kay. Hey, Gwen. So glad you're here. Oh, good. I'm glad you're liking it already. Yay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside, and let's work on our stamped layer. So the first thing I want to do is I'm bringing in a piece of Vellum Cardstock as well as some fresh Freesia. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere these together because I found it was so much easier for me to go ahead and adhere these together up front versus trying to do it after I stamped. So I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive where I'm going to stamp my flowers, because when you stamp using vellum, you are going to see the adhesive through your cardstock, right? So let me go ahead and lay this down. And they're supposed to be the same size. It's more or less, right? I might be off a little bit. So I'm just going to give that a good rub. So those little spots, so you can see that adhesive through to the front, but I'm going to stamp in those spots so we won't see it when we're done. Now, when you're stamping on vellum, a couple of things. So vellum is a non-porous, you know, it's not like our regular cardstock where the ink's going to dry really quick. The ink's going to sit on top of this cardstock and it's going to stay wet for quite some time. So if you're doing this at home, either have a lot of patience, stamp it and set it aside until it's not shiny anymore, right? Then you'll know it's dry, and I'll show you that in a moment. Or you can add some embossing powder over the top and heat emboss it. So the one thing you have to be careful with vellum is that when you add the heat, it's going to curl the vellum a little bit. So stamping this on the cardstock first does help with that, but you're still going to get a little bit of curling. So just watch that. You have to play with it and see what your personal preference is, I think, right? I think that makes the biggest difference there. All right, so I'm going to use this gorgeous floral distinctive image, and we're just going to ink this up in our Blackberry Bliss ink. Okay, and I'm going to kind of rotate this around because I want a nice large section of my flower. How about right there? So vellum, you have to be careful that you don't slide when you're stamping because it is a little slicker of a surface. So can you see how that is shiny? That ink is really shiny, which means it's wet. So if I ran my hand across this right now, it would smear the ink. So it's different than stamping on regular cardstock. Hopefully I'm making that point, right? All right, so next I'm going to put one up here. And again, I have some adhesive under where I stamped, which it's going to not show when I'm done, right? Because I'm putting this fabulous stamped image right over the top of it. And then let's go ahead and put this one right here in this little corner here. Perfect. Now, as I mentioned, that needs to dry. Again, you could go ahead and add some embossing powder. So a clear embossing powder, and heating that up would be a great way to set that ink. I do that a lot. Now with distinctive stamps though, I don't feel like it embosses very well. It really takes away, I think, personal opinion, from the all the dimension and layers you've got going on with just that stamped image. So for me, I'm going to set this aside and let this dry until it's not shiny anymore, right? So maybe tonight, right? It does take some time. So I've got another one that I stamped last week. Actually, it doesn't take that long to dry, but you can see this one's not shiny anymore. So same thing. I just let it naturally dry. All right. So let's go ahead and we can build our layers now. So I'm going to use some dimensionals. Oh my gosh, you got 10 inches? Is that 10 inches of snow, Jean? That's a lot of snow, girl. It is almost 70 degrees here today, I believe. I haven't been outside, but it was supposed to be. So we've had a crazy warm front. So I'm sure we'll pay for it later. But right now, our weather is fantastic from the perspective of it's warm. So I don't even have to wear long sleeves right now. All right, cute, right? So this is part of the reason I adjusted those layers and I don't have that even frame border, because I wanted this layer to kind of stand out a little bit with that frame up and down there. So just changing it up a little bit from something I might normally do. Okay, next we have got our super cute label that we've cut out, and we want to go ahead and take a length of our fresh Freesia woven ribbon. And I'm just going to loop that in half there and add some adhesive to the back of this and adhere that in place. I'm just going to eyeball it. All right, so it's not sticking the way I want. So I'm just going to pull that up, add a little bit of adhesive on top of that ribbon so that that stays where I want it to. All right, perfect. And then I'm just going to adhere this right down. So it's going to cover up where my stem is sticking out there. Cute, right? So you can use Stampin' Seal. I think I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue. I know. Elaine, Jean lives in Oregon. Yes, Jean, is that correct? I think so. In my mind, that's where you live. Right or wrong. All right, so we're going to just hold that for just a moment, let that glue sit for a moment. Okay, now we are ready to create our sentiment part. So I'm going to bring back in my, here's my stamp, and there it is, Blackberry Bliss ink. 23 degrees. Oh, Jean, I couldn't live where you live. It's too cold. All right, stamping our sentiment. And now I'm going to die cut this as well with my favorite Tasteful Labels dies. So this one right here. And we'll go ahead and run that through the die cutting machine. Okay. All righty. Got this. And then I'm going to pop this up, give it a little more height. So we'll pop this up with some dimensionals as well. So this lovely stamp set is going to be available starting January 4th. It's part of one of the many awesome new products in the January to June mini catalog. Now, if you want to get your hands on these products sooner, I'd love to have you join my Diamonds demonstrator team. We can pre-order products right now from the mini catalog, and you can have them in your starter kit even. So it's very exciting. All right, I'm going to add some polished dots. Now, I have gone through almost 2 sheets of these, and you can tell I like the clear ones. I've used the pink ones as well, and they probably work fine on this project because it's such a subtle color, but these clear ones are the ones I'm really loving. So I've only got one size left, and so that's what I'm going to use on this project, because it's all I have left. So my original one has the 2 sizes, but it's okay. I can go ahead and put those larger ones on, but I love these polished dots. So those will also be available starting January 4th. Okay, so that's the outside, so pretty. So let's bring the design to the inside. So I'm going to grab my scrap paper again and a piece of basic white cardstock, and we want to stamp the inside. So this is what I did on the original one. So let's go ahead and start off with our sentiment. So we'll grab our Blackberry Bliss ink, sending 1,000 well wishes on your special day. Wouldn't this make a great wedding card? I think it would. All right, let's see how straight or crooked I am. Not too bad. I'll take it. Right, Jean? Oh, yeah, you like the stamp set, Gwen? It is a really pretty one. Really, really pretty. All right. So since I didn't grab a Stampin' Scrub, I am going to just use my scrap paper. I'm going to flip it over, actually, and just kind of wipe off some of this Blackberry Bliss ink. I'm cheating. Isn't that terrible? Get as much of that ink off because I don't want to transfer it into my lighter fresh Freesia color. You guys ever done this way? I should go get a scrub and mist and clean it properly, but I'm not going to. We're just going to come in here. We're going to grab some fresh Freesia and stamp that flower right down in the bottom. So pretty. Love it, love it, love it. And then I'm going to switch back to the Blackberry Bliss and add a second flower. And it's okay if there's fresh Freesia on my stamp still going into the Blackberry Bliss. So anytime you've got a lighter color, it's not going to hurt your darker pad, but a darker color in your lighter pad, you might want to get some of that ink off of there, right? Okay, good, good, good. Now, do you guys have good luck stamping with distinctive stamps? I know that when people have had trouble, or when I've had trouble with it, I will double check my ink pad. So if your pad is too dry, you don't get good images. And if your pad is too wet, you don't get good images. So if you're having trouble getting good images, first check to see if you've got enough ink, right? Are you getting enough ink transfer? if it's kind of blobbing and it looks really, really wet, then I would work the ink down into your pad. So you can do that a couple of different ways. So you can take your pad and you could use a bone folder. I don't like to use a bone folder, but you could. I like to use the back of a spoon actually, and I should have grabbed one, but I didn't. But you would just work the ink, go back and forth, kind of like you're icing a cake, and kind of work that ink down into your pad a little bit, and then check it and stamp it again. So a lot of times it's because there's too much ink, because our ink pads are pretty darn juicy, right? So that is just a tip that I hope will help you. All right, do you guys love it? Yay! Good, good, good. Yeah, this is going to be an awesome stamp set. And there is some designer paper in this product suite that is to die for. It's just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So I chose not to go down that path today. I really wanted to feature just the stamp set and some different techniques, but you definitely would want to get your hands on that paper. I do have paper share and a ribbon share open right now for anybody that would like to join that. You can find information on my website, CreativeLeeYours.com, under the events, right? Classes and events, it's under there. So, all right. Thank you all so much. Oh, good. And you like the tips? Great, 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 great. I'm glad you guys loved this one. And I hope that you have a happy, happy new year. Getting ready to start 2022. Yay. Can't wait to see what that brings all of us. And I very much appreciate you all watching. If you're enjoying the content, please share the video with your crafty friends. If you watch the replay on my YouTube channel, I very much appreciate you subscribing to my channel. All right. Thank you all so much. And I will see you guys next Tuesday for a little bit more paper crafting fun. All right. Bye for now.